Hey, what is going on, Unblinded? Hello, hello, and welcome back to our Unblinded Huddle, the number one place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. My name's Fernando, and I'm super excited to be spending this day with you. And I see Adam Gugino is in the chat. I see other fine folk are saying good morning. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Kyle Z. And I'm grateful for all of you on this Thankful Thursday. Let's drop some hellos in the chat. I'd be curious to see where some people are calling in from. We've had some pretty interesting phone calls from people like all over the world. And it's pretty fascinating. So if you can drop where you're calling in from in the chat. We got Orlando De Los Santos calling in from New Jersey. We got Mr. Bond Stocking calling in from Orem, Utah. We got Andy Zapata, hope I said the last name correctly. You crushed it yesterday on your open, brother. Looking forward to connecting, calling in from Miami. We have Jenny from New Haven Country, Connecticut. Andres from Puerto Rico. What's up, man? We got Miguel from New York. We got Kyle Z. Seeing your name everywhere today, man, from Nashville. Corey, oh, man, now I'm nervous. We got Corey from Oklahoma. Jack from Boston. Michelle Gamble from Tallahassee, Florida. We have Matt from Parsippany, New Jersey. That's close, man. I know where that is. We got Bob from Port Lucille, Florida. Stanley from Columbia City, Indiana. Oh, man, I had like no idea you were Indiana. Craig, Long Island, New York. We got Josephine from Houston, Texas. And that's just absolutely radically incredible.
So Houston, Texas. Texas is like in the house at all times. The world is unblinded, Fernando.
Yeah, Deepak just dropped it in Texas again. Austin, boom, exclamation points.
And Austin is like the secret hub somehow of like the unblinded world. And just like things keep emerging from Austin. So good morning, everybody. Happy Thankful Thursday. I am off cam today with a few interesting things to share. But first, how are you? How are you? Like, where's your heart this morning? Where's your mind this morning? Like, how are you feeling about your life? How do you feel about yourself? Like, just how do you feel about yourself? Like, if you love yourself, just say yes. Like, if you love and appreciate yourself, say yes. You know, just share that in the chat on this Thankful Thursday. And maybe share and add a couple things that you're thankful for. You know, so Fernando, do you love yourself, brother?
I love myself, Sean. Yes, I do.
For real? I heard, I want to make sure, like, I think I heard it, but is that like real? Because I was like, was that a contemplative breathe it in pause, or was there a slightly different pause I heard?
It was a distinct, like, quick memory to last week. There was like a moment in time where I was like, man, I'm pretty awesome. And I was, pulling the Joseph McClendon, walking into rooms all fancy, just having a good time, acknowledging some of my gifts. So that was present for me. And I just kind of went back to that and said, yeah, I do love myself.
Cool. And everybody, what do you love about yourself? Like, we'll get to that in a second, but like, what do you love about yourself? Like, what's happening? Like, what is it that you truly appreciate and love about yourself on this Thankful Thursday? And Fernando, how about yourself? So it's like one or two things that you truly love about yourself.
One or two things that I truly love about myself would be my ability to sit and journal. I really love that experience. It creates for wonderful decisions in the world. And number two would be for me to appreciate little things. Like, one of the greatest highlights of my day is that I saw like this little guppy on the bay, and I must have followed that dude for like 20 minutes. And he was like the coolest thing on the planet in that moment. So I love those. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So you had a guppy in the bay this morning?
Not this morning. It was yesterday. I'm actually going to walk to the bay once this call is done. But yeah, yesterday I looked at a guppy for a while.
Okay. So that is an incredible segue for my story from this morning, which I'll get to in a couple minutes. And I'll leave a hint. It wasn't a guppy. So, yeah, like, what do we got? Can you read the chat, Fernando?
Yeah, let's read the chat. Let me get in there for 1 second. So thankful for family, a wonderful wife, 6 children, We have Ina for stamina and gratefulness, Tiffany, ability to flex and grow, Stanley, who's our coming up as our speaker later on today, to bring the gift of value and to love others. Matthew, that's the gentleman that shared family and a wonderful wife. Rose, she's excited to create, and that's what's present in the chat, Sean.
Yeah, awesome. And so I want to acknowledge Courtney Epps. Just what an incredible day yesterday. By the way, I want to also acknowledge Andy Zapata. Let's go there first. And he's going to come up and be on the Huddle next week. What an unbelievable example of what a real raw open is and can be. And this is present for me, right? Malcolm Gladwell talks about sales in the tipping point. The influencers of the world break into three categories: connectors, salespeople, and mavens. Mavens being like experts in different areas, right? Connectors, salespeople, and mavens. And then there's like those that don't influence. And so what I am present to is the reality that the space, and we can develop the skills to become those, I believe, right? That's not what he doesn't comment on that, right? He has those categories, but I believe we can become those. And that's what the integrity-based human influence formula is all about. And so what is fully present for me is that connectors get Real Raw Open. Connectors get and love Real Raw Open immediately, right? Salespeople don't get it as immediately, but when they experience it, they're like, oh man, like this is like crazy, right? So it is the space, and the more people develop their understanding and have experience and skill, and here's a baseline challenge. Folks that are a little bit, confused and, like still getting their sea legs under them about Real Raw Open haven't had the same type of acceleration, human-to-human acceleration, as connectors and salespeople, like real connectors and real salespeople have. So Andy comes on yesterday. We don't even know him. He just like introduced to the world of Unblinded a little bit randomly 2 months ago. I'm like, dude, where'd you come from? And he's been listening to the huddles regularly, and he just got it. And dude, he was on like with slides about what the Real Raw is, and like he was being me and like dropping in on saying what it was. I was so impressed. And the people he had on were like connectors and salespeople that are in the healthcare medical world of South Florida. And it was just so beautifully constructed on how it was a relationship accelerant and real skills from real people that were out there, not any folks that are, quote unquote, that you'd know as names in the movement. And it was like, yeah, they're doing it. Like they got their 10 going, like they got their Real Raws. They were doing Real Raws before they even put them on and did it with me. Like it was so beautiful to see like what was happening. And we'll talk more about it next Wednesday and all the benefits and why it's the accelerant that it is. We'll get back to that. So I'm super thankful and present to that. And on this Thankful Thursday to Courtney Epps. And what a phenomenal job Courtney did, Fernando, for your creating a deepening of that relationship with Courtney, more frictionlessness in that ecosystem merge. And Courtney, if you're out there, thank you. And, my goodness, Operation Underground Railroad, Mana Relief. We're saving the whales. I'm kidding. So no, but like clean drinking water for Liberia, in the last well, like WELL, the last well, just an unbelievable, things that Todd's up to with that. And then of course, we had like Crystal Robinson on. We had Teresa Witherspoon on, like icons of the WNBA. Just unbelievable people of humility, of, just like what it looks like. And it wasn't just an exercise in influence mastery increase. It was an exercise in real things happening. Janelle was on, and Courtney was on, and book publishers were there talking about the publishing of books, and people were creating relationships around co-writing books, and it was just like amazing. And this is what it looks like. So yeah, that's Thankful Thursday, and we're gonna bring. Actually, let's bring Stanley up because we'll have some fun with what I am thankful for on this Thursday, and it relates to the ocean. So let's bring Stanley in. Let's keep this rolling. And, thank you for all your interaction in the chat. and for bringing love and energy to everybody here in the Unblinded ecosystem. So we have Stanley here, Fernando?
Stanley is here. What's up, man?
Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Stanley, we can hear you. How are you, brother?
I am fantastic, Sean. And how are you today?
I am fantastic. So what are you thankful for, and what do you love about yourself, Stanley?
I am thankful for the Unblinded movement, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that we've been given and to be accessible and to be presented before, you know, an audience that wouldn't normally see us. And I have a slight reflection that I'd like to share with you, if that's okay, Sean.
Yeah, but first, if you wouldn't mind, would
Okay.
you mind sharing something you love about yourself?
I love about myself the ability to work with other people that I esteem to be at a higher capacity in knowledge and mastery, and yet I'm their equal, and that I can bring in distinctions, and I can bring my gift, which is unique, and combine it with their gift, and we create this environment that is absolutely frictionless and beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. And I acknowledge you for that. And what I love about you, Stanley, is how much action you have taken in capitalizing on the real raw opportunity to improve your skill sets as well as connecting. But you've used it as such a vehicle for your rise in your influence mastery, and it is present and clear. And, you know, I am grateful for you utilizing that tool. It's a lot of time and energy on Unblinded's part, on my part, and it has been awesome to experience somebody like yourself who is like rising in mastery, not only through the programs, but then the skill development aspects of the Real Raw Open. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. It's a gift to be able to do that. So I greatly appreciate that. So here's what I have as a reflection, Sean, and I'd like you to just absorb this. I want this to just sink in, and I just want you to bask in this reflection. So as I look back on the unfolding of the year 2020, the idea of the significance of those numbers being brought together symbolizes a year where vision is implied. 2020 is the idea that you can see optimally. It is the standard that has been used longer than I care to investigate. But as 2020, the year of vision, ushered in a turn of events where sight would become clouded. It became increasingly difficult to see what was about to become an awakening, a reset of life as we knew it, a moment of vision, and the events that would soon turn the world upside down. Coincidence can be defined as the moment where two parts of a whole collide in perfect harmony. That harmony would be led by a man who is blind but helps others to see differently. 2020 became the kickoff of a movement that has brought about vision of how much we can do, what greatness we still have to tap into, and led by a founder who took what came against him and created a trophy, a pinnacle that would become more empowering for just a few, but it would be unblinding for countless. The timing was perfect. The debut of a movement was in line and aligned with the turn of events that would challenge even the well-off, the educated, and the untouchables. I think it would be fair to say that possibly others would be reserved and exercise an added hesitancy if they had known the outcome of the economic turn. In this instant, not knowing what we didn't know worked in our favor, because a community was being forged that allowed us to grow stronger. I am thankful that I was part of the initial group of people who accepted the offer to join, to experience a formula that is complete, the mastery process, the personal process, and the personal mastery. Being unblinded has a unique significance to me because it's the story of the blind man who had the encounter with Jesus that gave my faith a renewed belief that all things are not as they appear to be, that our vision is often hindered by what we see. And then our vision is opened up. We are unblinded. Stepping out of our unknowingness, listening to our visions awakened, seeing with our ears, because it is in the listening that our imagination is awakened and our dreams become visions, and visions become the catalyst to bring the change we desire. as it's been said and echoed on every Tony Robbins conference. But even before Tony, it has been said, repetition is the mother of skill, and the mastery is the reward of repetition. It's in the repetition of constant reiteration that allowed each mastery student to grow in their greatness and continually press into the vision that has been waiting for them as they press and try and labor to fight the voices of the past. As I listen to other students within the self-development arena, especially Unblinded, who I tend to esteem greater than my own ability, I am reminded that they also struggle. Maybe this is the hope that I have, that I don't know who else I speak for, but I won't assume, so I speak only for myself. I am thankful to know that the struggle is real, that the obstacles have been placed in a systematic manner that causes me to rise up to whatever pace my strength can endure. I've said time and time again that I'm okay if I don't get the blessings you were intended to have, but I don't want to leave this world without one blessing that was intended for me. We all fall. I would venture to say that there are times experiencing uncertainty that we have risen to our greatest achievements and surpassed others that were far better or further along than in our journey, which is another gift of Unblinded, the gift to know that just when you experience your greatest moments of uncertainty and you feel like you're learning all over again, and you wish that you had been exposed to this information years ago and how much more you could have done, the reality of bringing all of life's experiences combined with what we are gaining now and planting the seed in a fertile soil, our power is multiplied and our vision is cleared. My story doesn't compare with some of those that are on here, but I'm ever thankful that their stories have been heard, because out of tragedy and atrocities, a place of healing is created. A platform for the brokenhearted and the wounded has been created where we are better together than we are apart. And life will never be the same. Justice and miracles walk hand in hand. I have become unblinded to the things of my own strengths that I took as a commonplace, discrediting the value that is within me because it was my normal. I listen and I celebrate, knowing that even those who rub elbows with you, Sean, in your practice, those with greater education than myself, they don't get it. That gives me drive. That gives me the ability to want to reach to the next module or repeat the one that I just finished for the 4th or 5th time, so I don't miss a micro distinction. And then I learn with others. For me, Unblinded came at the perfect alignment for belief and proximity. It is like I have been adopted into a family far beyond superficial connections that came on the cusp of a time of isolation. The opportunity to engage with others and have morsels of gold deposited is priceless. I've been challenged to rethink and review and see what I didn't see because I didn't know what I didn't know. I am still uncertain why being on Zoom still freaks me out. But as intimidating as it is, I can speak on a stage with hundreds, but Zoom, it still has some power. But maybe that's another understanding of the formula, trusting in the process, trusting that it's working when we can't see the broad platform, the body language for affirmation as I scan through a crowd on stage. Getting out of our heads and back into our hearts, seeing the formula as a relationship builder, personal and outward. The formula has been the process of removing walls that cause separation, inclusive with integrity, vulnerable with strength, learning all over that we are capable beyond what we think, beyond what others have told us or what we allowed them to convince us of. They say that in the next year, the birth rate will have a spike. But I want to say that because of Unblinded, we have all become pregnant with ideas and platforms that are going to burst into action beyond the numbers we can count. An awareness that will shake up the systems that are broken, fragmented, outdated, and the vision carried to another level. I am grateful to have been exposed within this formula, not just to a program, but a process. The teachers of Thomas Edison said, and I quote, "He was too stupid to learn anything." I think about the 1,000 times that he attempted and how easy it is for me to go to any room and flip a toggle switch and have lights. I only have to watch the modules 3 or 4 times, not 1,000, to get it. I want to encourage any student out there who's feeling overwhelmed, overburdened. I want to encourage you, don't give up. The struggle is real. You're not going to understand it the first time, but it will be worth it. Small steps climb the highest mountain, but it is at one step at a time. This is another beauty about the power of the 10 by 10. It is the formula in action and the proximity of greatness. Coming together, we add value. It is only when we are separated that the enemy of your destiny whispers lies in your head. No one knows everything. We are all blind in some dimension, but together we are better and we see things that we didn't see moments before. Thank you for allowing me to share what Unblinded has added to my life. God bless you.
Wow. At several different points during that family that is received, and I'm overwhelmed and couldn't be more moved by how you feel and what you see here. And I had tears pouring down my face in multiple different moments. And thank you for that unbelievable gift from the Thankful Thursday. And folks, I had no idea that any of that was happening. And I just, brother, you get it. And thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing this work. Thank you for embodying everything it's supposed to be about, brother. I can't tell you how thankful I am.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. So Stanley, could we have just in these waning moments,
yes,
and Fernando and everybody, could we have a little bit of, I don't know, maybe all 4 energies for a moment, but certainly maybe start with a fun viewpoint. So Fernando, you saw a guppy yesterday?
Yes, I am. Yeah, a guppy.
So I shifted the schedule a little bit and did not start at 6 a.m. today. But I did start my day in my life before 6 a.m. today, and came up to the beach, which I am still sitting on, and did some calls. But before I did any calls, I paddled out into the ocean. And again, for those who don't know, and most of you do, I'm blind and legally blind. And that means I can't see anything straight ahead. I could see some things peripherally, but certainly not nearly as well as you guys could see peripherally. So a lot of folks think that that's completely insane, that I would be going out into the ocean completely by myself, nobody on the beach, nobody anywhere, right? And I draw lines in the sand that I could see peripherally and arrows to make sure when I come out of the water, if I'm alone, that I can make it back to the towel and where I started, right? Because it's kind of annoying to have to walk all the way to the road and like ask people where I am, right? So, I paddle out this morning and it was beautiful. The waves are incredible. The sandbar starts here. If I go about 50 steps down the beach to the left is where the sandbar is really incredible. And even today, it was about an hour off of high tide when I went in at 6 o'clock. And the sandbar was about chest deep and awesome. And so, let's say I was, between 50 and 70 yards out, at different moments. And I just started surfing. And the waves are incredible. I would say you could check it online. But what was here in Holgate, unquestionably, were solid, consistent 3-foot waves, if not 4 foot. And of course, that's measured from the shoreline. So you're looking up at the wave is meaningfully over your head, right? And so I'm in heaven, and there's like just peace and quiet and like birds having breakfast and hang out. And then, after about 6 or 7 waves, and I was like, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more and then jump on some beautiful calls. And so all of a sudden, I get bumped by a shark. And I have been bumped by sharks in a shark feed before, but but I'd never been bumped by a shark. I think I was once when I was about 6. But I'm standing on the sandbar in like chest deep water, and I'm waiting for a wave. I'm off the surfboard, and at very meaningful speed, not like crazy speed, but meaningful speed, a rounded nose object, not a pointed nose object, you know. And fish, by the way, don't bump into you. I've bumped into and grazed off the side of many fish, but sharks will bump you. So a shark came meaningfully and bumped into my shin at speed. And, you know, folks, I have fun talking about self-mastery and our ability to control our fear. In that instant, my amygdala kicked in, and I faced a level of fear I have not faced Fernando and Stanley and everybody in an unbelievably long time. You want to put things in perspective. You want to think like somebody didn't call you back, what somebody's going to make fun of and say about you. Be 70 yards out in the ocean, blind, completely by yourself, and get rammed by a shark, right? So, Fernando, I'll pause. What is present for you?
Just based on how you started the story this morning, I felt like something like this was going to come. This is even more ridiculous than I thought the story was going to be. And I'm just so grateful that we can laugh about that. And because that'll move into the next energy, Stanley. Stanley, I don't know, any thoughts on this moment?
I'm just glad I wasn't in there next to the shark, because I think, you know, mosquitoes like dark meat, because I'm the only one that ever gets bit by mosquitoes. And I'm sure sharks probably do too, because we're probably juicier.
That's unbelievable. So I am thankful, and I'll share what I'm thankful for, love about myself as we take it home. I am thankful that I was safe and that nothing happened. And I all the time talk about the you know, elevation of fear and how statistically invalid it really is, and the math of, you know, reality. There hasn't been a fatal shark attack in New Jersey in 104 years, but the inspiration for Jaws, by the way, happened one mile, about 1.25 miles from where I was in the ocean this morning in Beach Haven, was where in 1916 somebody was fatally killed by a shark. So, and I'm like, yeah, it's 104 years. Somebody else could go, dude, it's due. It's 104 years, right? So that's the last fatal shark attack in New Jersey. And there was like 3 more fatalities, I think it was 3, within 2 weeks after that. So that was the inspiration, as Peter Benchley said, for Jaws. There's a Discovery Channel episode for Shark Week on it. So like that's flashing through my head, like as I'm out there, and I'm thankful I'm safe. I'm thankful a wave came right away. I got on the board. I didn't try to stand up, you know, like I didn't want to risk a fall. So I just like laid on the board and rode it all the way to shore, right to the sand, like 70 yards, 60 yards, whatever the distance exactly was, in like a nanosecond. Big wave, like out of there. 1 second later, it was like perfectly timed, unbelievably freaked out. But here's what I love. Thank you. Hopefully you all have engaged one more time what you love about yourself. And I'll share this. Here's what I love about myself. I love that I'm blind and that I will go into the ocean by myself. I love that at every stage of everything I've created as a company, people have told me I couldn't. People have told me it wouldn't work. And I mean every. In every subdivision, the original law firm, the coaching and training company built in 2003, every subdivision of Callagy Law, people told me wouldn't work. Every single one. And there are ones that are emerging right now that it took 8 years to get figured out. And because of the beautiful teammates we have are being figured out. And there was at least 6 different people who ran that department, commercial insurance and medical revenue recovery, that said it wouldn't work, couldn't work. And that is a division, I believe, that could be a $100 million division of Callagy Law within 3 years. Maybe it won't be, and I'll screw it up, and we'll screw it up, but it absolutely can be. And it took 6 years to find the right people and processes to make it work. And so I just want to acknowledge and thank Tom LaGreca, James Greenspan, you know, and the entire team for doing that. But people told me along the way who were predecessors in running those divisions that it couldn't and wouldn't work. And so I love about myself that when I know truth, I will not stop. I will not let the fears, the distortions, the doubts of anybody stop me. And I stood in a room that I paid $10,000 to be in about 4 years ago, maybe 5. And it was a program for a company called GKIC. It was Dan Kennedy's group. And I honor them, great people. But the guy running my 10-person, one-day, $10,000 seminar told me that there was no way I was shooting too broadly. And his exact comment to me was, like, who do you think you are, Tony Robbins? Like, you can't just help people generally with a formula. Like, that's too broad. You have to, like, just help lawyers or just pick, like, one sub-niche of lawyers. And I'm not saying he was wrong in some of the ways that we can go to market and build a relationship completely, but I will tell you what he was wrong about. He was wrong about me walking into a room and trying to make me less than I was. And what I love about myself is that I would walk into the room with the president of any nation, and I wouldn't feel better than them, but I wouldn't feel less than them. So Stanley, brother, when you read what you read about everybody being equal, we all are. Right. We all are. And never let anybody in any situation tell you you are less than you are, because you are not. And as that man stood there and said that day, it rocked me a little bit. It made me want to hide. It made me want to play smaller, just for a little bit. And since then, the things that have happened in my life are so laughably, insanely ridiculous, and even involve at some level the very name he evoked, which I wasn't even talking about and saying anything about. And it's unbelievable to me. So to not have a cliche comment, right? But your dreams are yours.
Right. Your
dreams are yours. And Stanley, you saying like you don't want anybody else's blessings, but only the ones that are for you, was such a profoundly beautiful statement. And I don't want the blessings for anybody else, and I don't want anybody else's life. There's not a life in the world I want. I just want mine. And loving yourself and loving your life is about that. And nobody here is telling you to live a life like anybody else except you. We are telling you as a formula to take you to that greatest part of the life that you want. We are telling you that there's laws of like science of how we connect and influence people, like in what we do with it, like there are rules and structures and science that applies, right? But it is your life. And from my heart to yours, love it and love yourself. Because we don't love our life, and if we don't love ourselves, we ain't going anywhere. And I can promise you, you have a leader here, and you're a leader too. And I am a leader, and I love my life. My life isn't perfect. No life will ever be, ever, never. Anybody telling you that's lying. We're always going to have pain. We're always going to have challenges. We're always going to have things that come up. But do you love your life? Because when you do, and you need to throw lightning bolts, you will. And you need to confront things, you will. And the rest of the time, be loving, be gathering, be giving of your heart, with boundaries. Of course, we have a limited amount of time as a helicopter flies overhead right now. But it is your life and dreams. And it is fun to have crazy stories when sharks bump into you and you make it to the other side. And there's sharks all around and everywhere, and you are still safe.
Yep.
You have a formula. You have a lightning bolt. You have your love of yourself and your heart. Stanley, brother, thank you. That was one of the most beautiful things that anybody has ever said about what I believe in and about themselves. So thank you on this Thankful Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay. And everybody out there, thank you. Fernando, thank you. Everybody, right? It's your life. It's your dreams. It's you. Love yourself first and serve others and love them. Have a beautiful day.